Hey guys, I wanted to put together a video on how to use the Ss Brewtech controller. I've got the 3-vessel controller, but what I'm going to show should work for the 1 and 2 vessel controller. They all use the same Omron E5cc series. And bear with me if I make mistakes. I don't like to do a lot of video editing, but I'm going to talk about the 3 different type controls for maintaining temperature that you can use. This video, I'm going to talk about the on-off setting and also how to access the different settings in your controller. I don't know how everybody else's controllers showed up from Ss Brewtech, but my controller showed up out of the box as being locked, and you'll know yours is locked if you press this far left button and just let it up. If you just press it, don't hold it down, just press it and let it up, it really doesn't do anything. And I was watching a bunch of other people's videos on how to access Auto Tune, and I could never access it because mine was locked. I'm going to show how to unlock it. I'm going to show in another video what Auto Tune is, how to do it, and the advantages of it, how if you understand your system and are consistent with it, it is the best option to use. But I do want to address all 3 options and actually show how they work, show the advantages and disadvantages of it. So starting this video, the first thing I want to show you is how to unlock your controller. The first thing you'll do to unlock your controller is press both buttons on the far left and hold them down until a menu comes up. This will be the first setting that you see, and by default, at least mine was, it came set to 2. So press this button, the down arrow, and change it to 0. After that, hit this button here, the second to the left, cycle to the next parameter, and set that to 0 as well. Alright, so that should unlock all of your menus, and you can close out of this menu the same way you got into it by pressing and holding the 2 far left buttons. Alright, now remember at the beginning of the video, I just tapped that button and let it up. Well, this time when I tap it and let it up, it actually brings up a menu. It didn't used to do that before, but now we've unlocked that menu and we can get in and out of it. That menu brings up Auto Tune. You see I've got it turned off. We will talk about that in another video. Sorry for it being off center, guys, doing this with the cell phone and I'm not editing my video. Anyway, alright, so we're going to talk about the on-off setting and actually show how it works. To access that menu, I'm going to press this far left button and hold it down. Once in there, I'm going to cycle through the menus. I'm not going to talk about every different setting in here. And if there's enough interest, I can explain more and show what I do know. I don't know everything. I've tried to figure out as much as I can to learn what I needed to do to brew the way that I want to brew. But this is a setting that you want to look for either on-off or PID. When my controller came, it was set to on-off. So I'm going to set it to that and then show you how on-off works. So I've got my controller set to 0 right now. I'm going to dial the temperature up to, let's just say 100 and not that high. Let's see. Nope, dial it back down. I'm going to set it to, that's close to 155. Let's set it to 155. Alright, so I'm setting it to 155. Before you turn your rims element on, you always want to make sure that your pump is flowing water. So always flow water through before you turn your heater on. So I'm turning that on, and I'm going to turn my heater on. All right, with on-off, it works by giving 100% power all at once. So you'll notice temperature's starting to rise. The REMS tube is turned on at 100%. And the temperature is just skyrocketing right now because it's superheating the water inside the REMS tube. Now it turned off when it hit 155, but that REMS tube got so hot that it's overshot it by 2 degrees. As it keeps going, it might even overshoot by 3 degrees. But that's not the temperature inside my mash tun. And that REMS tube is turned off, and any water flowing through it is not receiving any heat whatsoever. It's an all or nothing thing. It gives you 100% power to get you back up to temperature. It also has, the way I have my controller set, a 1 degree variance. So everything that's pumped through it, ever since you saw that light turn off and the temperature start kicking down, is nowhere near the temperature that I really want. That water is much less inside the mash tun than 155. And it's going to stay that until it ticks down to 154. And then it'll turn back on and it'll have another violet overshoot. So the water inside my mash tun, I actually preheated it to 155. So my mash tun is very insulated and very stable. But I'm going to show you, like it looks pretty stable right now, right? Let me just increase it by 1 degree. If I increase it by 1 degree, actually it doesn't do anything because I'm still at 155. Let me increase it by 1.5 degrees. So this is only a 1.5 degree variance of what it's showing. So it turns on because it's more than that 1 degree off, and it's gonna skyrocket it up to 156.5, and then it'll turn off. But the big thing is the overshoot. You're sending spurts of hot water in and then nothing. And that's going to create different temperature stratification layers inside your mash tun. For me, the on-off setting is the absolute worst setting to use. I'm trying to think of any time I would actually use the on-off setting versus any of the other settings, and I really don't know that I would. Yeah, I just can't think of any time that I would rather use on-off. It by default has a 1 degree variance. This is not turning on at all until it dips down a whole degree below where I was. You'll see it kick on here in a second when that light, the yellow light, there it is, that pops on. And you know, when I dial my mash temperatures in, I want it to be precise. I didn't spend as much money on this system as I did for it to not hit it by 1 degree and then have these stupid overshoots. That's not saying this is a bad controller. I'll show you how awesome this controller actually is, but the on-off setting is just not what you want to use. So the next best thing is Self Tune, and I'll show Self Tune and how to access it in the next video. I'm going to pick up from there.